Knowing versus Belief. The Path from Illusion to Illumination. By the Black Flame of Ma'at, Michael Griffin. What if I told you? Knowledge comes not from belief, but from knowing. Not from blind faith, but from the eyes that see, the ears that hear, and the soul that remembers. Would you know I was telling you the truth? What if I told you? That belief has been placed like a veil over your mind, a comfort blanket for the unknown, a wall that keeps true knowing out, that you were taught to believe, trained to have faith, and in doing so, your mind became immune to the very truth it was created to know. Would you feel the veil tremble? What if I told you that to have faith in what you have not yet seen is not the same as enlightenment, but rather a choice to stay blind to what's been in front of you all along? That faith without knowing is the very root of your division, your wars, your martyrdoms, your willingness to die for something you've never actually known. Would you hear me if I said, you are not being spiritual, you are being used? What if I told you that when I walk away from your temple, from your church, your mosque, your sanctuary, it is not because I carry darkness within me, but because your belief cannot tolerate the light I bring? What if I told you that your rituals, your rebukes, your holy words are not casting out demons, but casting out the very messengers sent to wake you? Would you recognize truth if it came, not with a halo and hymns, but in rags with scars, speaking words your faith-trained mind called madness? Would you know who I am? What if I told you that your fire and light religions have kindled a false fire, not one that warms the soul, but one that burns the eye, so you can no longer see what is real? What if I told you that the hell you fear is not punishment from above, but the ego's trap, a cage made from belief, reinforced by fear, and sold to you as salvation? What if I told you that Da'at, true knowledge, lies hidden between Chakma and Bina, wisdom and understanding, but you were told it was forbidden, labeled occult, demonized by those who feared your awakening? Would you recognize the prison built around your mind? What if I told you that your religions are not evil? They are seeds wrapped in myth, encoded with truth, but you were never taught to find the code, only to memorize the surface. What if I told you you are defending the skin of a story, while crucifying the marrow of its meaning, and those sent to open your eyes, the prophets, the mystics, the strangers in disguise? You called them mad, you cast them out, you burned them at the stake, or ignored them in your pews. Would you know you were repeating a cycle, older than all your scriptures, where you slaughter the ones sent to open your eyes? What if I told you that the very idea of the occult, hidden knowledge, is not evil, but simply hidden, not to deceive you, but to protect it from those who would misuse it? That the cult, which cultivates culture, has been twisting your mind, not to bring you to God, but to distance you from knowing? What if I told you that you are ready to die for beliefs you've never examined, for gods you've never met, for doctrines you don't truly understand? And yet, if a messenger came to show you how to truly know, you would call him Satan, or just call him insane. Would you know I was telling you the truth? What if I told you that Marat, the embodiment of truth, and Diyat, the tree's hidden branch of knowledge, are not far from you, but right here, in the words you were taught to fear? That light came to you, but because it didn't come from your chosen temple, because it came from the darkness you called unclean, you turned your back and shouted, "Demon!" because the truth did not fit your faith, because you believed more than you knew. So now I ask you, would you know me if I stood before you in light? Would you know me if I came from the shadow? Would you know me if I carried the black flame of Ma'at? Or would you still be too bound in your belief to recognize the very truth you've been praying to see? And like they killed everyone that came before me, you do just the same to me, and shout, blaspheming demon, deceiving devil, and kill knowing as a heretic and heresy of your belief and faith?